Sir Winston Churchill led Britain through the darkest hours of World War II, and this made him one of the modern world's most famous leaders. Does history repeat itself? In the case of the Churchill family, it very well may. About 300 years ago, a fierce battle became a turning point in European history. The Battle of Blenheim was won by an Allied army led by the Duke of Marlborough, who defeated the previously unbeaten French forces in southern Germany. Outnumbered, but led by the tactically astute Marlborough and the Austrian Prince Eugene, the Allies broke through the heart of the French defence, and the rest is history. In this battle, the French army lost nearly two-thirds of its soldiers and never recovered to dominate again, as once they had. It's arguable that this great battle was one of the first steps in establishing the British Empire. A grateful Queen Anne gave a magnificent reward to the victor. He was made the first Duke of Marlborough, given a large sum of money and the luxurious estate of Blenheim Palace in Oxfordshire. Like the Duke of Marlborough, John Churchill, a descendant was born who would again lead England's military to victory in the world's bloodiest battle, World War II, and his name was Winston Churchill. Within the palace are superb staterooms filled with gold and silver, paintings and tapestries and furniture. But there is one very simple room. It's the room where Winston Churchill was born. The room is kept very much as it was when Winston Churchill was born there in 1874. On May the 10th, 1940, Winston Churchill was made Prime Minister of a nation in extreme jeopardy. Every news bulletin confirmed worsening news of Britain's imminent defeat by the Nazi regime. Churchill's biggest problem was the efficiency of the German U-boat or submarine fleets. The Germans nearly closed the sea lanes and crippled Britain. The threat to the sea lanes was a cause of anxiety, and Churchill once said, "The only thing that ever really frightened me during the war was the U-boat peril." Then came the dark days when London was blitzed by the Luftwaffe and under continued bombing. But even in those horrific times, the steadfast Churchill was able to make remarkable speeches that inspired his countrymen. It was the fighting in the air that gave England its first break. The aerial Battle of Britain marked a turning point in the Second World War. During the late summer of 1940, Britain's Air Force repelled German attacks that were to have paved the way for invasion after the fall of France. It was the first battle of the Second World War that Hitler didn't win. Like his ancestor John Churchill, Winston Churchill sought assistance from Allied countries to help battle the Nazis' domination of Europe, and it was this combined effort that crippled the Nazi threat. This is the Livadia Palace in Yalta. The palace served as a summer residence of Russian Tsar Nicholas II. In February 1945, Churchill met his wartime allies, Roosevelt and Stalin. It was one of a series of conferences that contributed to the final defeat of Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. This is the room where the historic conference of the Big Three took place. In the closing stages of the war, Churchill, Joseph Stalin and the US President Franklin D. Roosevelt redrew the map of Europe in this very room and led to the post-war shape of Europe. Once again, the Churchill family had reshaped Europe.